As we go into this special love month, everybody's asking questions wherever they are. What do I do for Valentine's Day? What do I do for my loved ones? How do I celebrate love? Can a love heart, can a broken heart actually be mended? Stick around and let's ask that question as you are welcome to Broken Not Shattered this Sunday. Your host, Ika Waverly, and my guest who's going to be coming in a few minutes, Dr. Sally. But before then, the question keeps on chiming wherever we are. Can a broken heart be mended, right? And I've thought about it myself and I'm like, what do we really do to get a broken heart mended? I believe it can be. Some people feel it can never be, right? Can you be in love with the same person for all your life? And I say, yes, you can love someone, but love them in different ways. You don't have, because the relationship has come to an end, doesn't mean that you stopped loving that person. You can still love them. The other question that I got not too long ago is how I'm so lonely and what is my plans for Valentine's Day? Well, today we're discussing matters of the heart, but I can't do it by myself. So I brought in someone who I believe who understands this very well. And there is a twist to today's show. So sit back and catch Dr. Sally and I as we share some of the special moments. Hey, welcome to Broken Not Shattered, Dr. Sally. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Ike.
Great. So this is the month that people feel is a month of love. Everywhere you go, you see the hearts, the red heart everywhere. And you and I are going to have a great afternoon, a great evening for those who are somewhere in Nigeria or our audience in the West African coast. But we here on the East Coast, we're going to talk about how do we deal with the heart issues, matters of the heart. That's what we're here to discuss, matters of the heart. Some question is, can a broken heart be mended? Let me ask you that question.
Well, first of all, I'm in red, so yes, I'm ready for some hard talk, as the case may be. And this is February. Um, I just want to say, first of all, there's no blanket answer to that because just the same way people heal differently from physical ailments, people heal differently from broken hearts. I guess it depends on how shattered that heart is, who did it, and what is put in place to mend the heart. I once saw something that someone took like a china dish and smashed it and put it back together, glued it together, and said, does it look the same way? I mean, it doesn't look the same way. You won't even want to eat from that mended
Yes,
china dish.
right.
So
So
a broken heart may be mended, but it'll probably not be the same, in my thinking. And for some people, they just won't heal. And so my answer is yes or no. Your answer is what?
for me, can a broken heart be mended? The
Hmm.
answer to that is yes. And my yes is not from the point of um, just emotions, right? Because as believe it or not, guys also go through broken hearts just like females go.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've been brokenhearted a couple of times, and I know I've broken a few hearts on my own too. So I understand that. So I know that yes, it could happen, right? So my answer is yes, it can be mended, but it can only be mended by God through the love of Jesus Christ, and
Amen to
that's
that.
and that's my own personal experience, right? Um,
Okay.
you don't have the capacity to mend something that you didn't really create. So for you to really mend a broken heart, you have to take that broken pieces back to the creator itself and say, Lord, here I am, completely broken, hurting, justified or maybe not justified. Heal my broken heart. And it's the love of Christ that he did for you and I, pay that price, that begins to allow us to now have that heart mended. The program we are on is called Broken, Not Shattered, which means that
Absolutely.
there is going to be places of brokenness. The heart can
Mhm.
get broken. My heart has been broken before. So I don't know why I'm choking all of a sudden. Sorry, guys. Um,
Sorry. Take a
yeah,
sip.
so but at the end of the day, it is the healing process through the love of Christ, and I believe that the first step to that healing process is forgiveness. You have
Okay.
to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
And as you forgive, you gradually begin to let go. So, in the
Okay.
process of forgiving, you're letting go. And as you're letting go, God Himself is coming in to mend that broken heart. It's the same with broken relationships. Once you begin to, the power is in the forgiveness, right?
Mm-hmm.
For God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, Jesus Christ, right?
Absolutely.
And what God did through Christ was give us an avenue to forgive you and I for our shortcomings.
Great. I mean, look
Yeah.
at you addressing that from your spiritual point, and I was busy addressing it from my medical point.
No,
Okay, thinking about, but
no, that's
then
fine. No,
I
that's
do
fine.
see that,
No,
and I,
yes,
I, I mean, I appreciate that. I'm a Christian, definitely, and I
yes,
appreciate the fact that only the one who creates can mend or whatever is been broken that He
yeah,
created,
yeah,
and I do agree with that. I also always say that it's grace, but we have to be able to cooperate with grace, and that also is dependent on the environment. The
right,
person has to be within an environment that encourages healing.
right,
Okay, so we're assuming that the person is separated from whatever caused that brokenness,
right,
right?
yeah,
And so that gives them the opportunity to move forward
okay.
by God's grace.
Or to
I
find,
do get
or to
that.
find, or to find.
However, my question is, really, if the heart is mended, okay, there's nothing God cannot do. I agree with that. And when God mends, He completely mends.
Yeah,
Okay, but I was still going to ask, in my humanness,
yes.
and when this heart is mended by God, is it really as a whole as it was before? Yes. As a Christian, I'll say yes. But in practical terms, do we really find people the same? Like I saw something that said, apology accepted, access denied.
Oh, we lost Sally there. Okay,
I
she's back.
saw.
Sorry, go ahead. So it
That's
says
okay.
apology accepted, access.
Apology accepted, access denied.
Right. So in that case, right, what the person has actually done is separate themselves from that person or that environment
Mhm.
that have caused them pain or hurt, right? And by separating themselves, they believe that they can now they can't. It's a trust issue or some kind of level of abuse that's taking place, whatever it was, right? That has caused
Mm,
them to get to the point where they feel like if I open up myself again to this person, they will hurt me again, right? So
mhm.
that's where the access denied comes in.
Yeah.
However, though, based on my own personal experiences and knowledge of stuff that I've learned over the years, I will tell you that if access is denied and forgiveness is not activated, the person is in prison. You can,
Yeah, the person is in prison if they haven't forgiven.
yes, because you see,
Right.
if you haven't forgiven, the person has not. Um, there's an Igbo saying that says, "Onye ji mmadụ ji onwe ya." I don't know if you heard that
True.
before. He
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
holds someone down is also held down themselves, right?
Yeah.
So most of the times when people hurt you and they move on, you bear that grudge for so long, you've put yourself in a bond or some kind of bondage, entrapment of
Mm.
yourself, right? So you've encased yourself, for lack of a better word, where you just can't move on. But once you activate forgiveness, right, and say, you know what, and it's easy for those people, folks like me, right? I've always been a bad boy, right? And so God has, in His mercy, has always shown me forgiveness,
No.
kindness, and love. So it's easy for me to say, oh my God, this is a guy that used to be in a cult, right? He's been a frat on campus. So if God can forgive me for all those things we did when we were young and naive, and say, hey, I can still use you, I still love you, then it's easier for me to love people when people hurt me. I might not forget, but it's easier for me.
Uh-huh.
Yes, I might not forget, but I'll forgive. And that by me not forgetting, Sally, is it allows me to stay aware that this is the thing that I did that could have triggered this off, or this is the thing that I did not do that could have triggered it off, right? I look at myself
Yeah.
first. I go to myself first because that's the first person that is my go-to place. So yes, I believe it can be mended, but it can only be mended by God Himself.
Okay.
And I believe
Right.
that
Okay.
I believe also that it's only activated when there is forgiveness in your heart. Someone just sent a message again, Sally.
Okay.
They said, if love is forgiven, what sin should love forgive? And I'm saying, if love is forgiving, it should forgive all sin. Don't even try and say, oh, he cheated on me, or he slapped me, or he told me a lie, or he stole from me. Whatever it is, you have to forgive. Don't put it in a box, because if you start boxing it, right, and this is from favor, so if you start boxing it, there's going to be a problem. You want to forgive completely, and it's a process. It is not.
It is.
It's not a trigger. It's not. But don't
No.
stay there too long, because once the heart, you can go through a bad relationship, a heartbreak, and love again,
Oh yeah, yeah.
right?
That's
So
very possible.
if you stay in one place marking time too long, you're not going to be able to move on and enjoy the rest of your life.
That's very true. I actually believe that. And but then what I always try to point out to people is that you forgive doesn't mean that you allow the same thing to repeat. Because a lot of ladies,
True.
which
True.
I have seen both like in the movies and in reality, someone like really messes with your head. We're talking about mental health a lot these days, and we know that psychological abuse is actually more grievous, will I say, or harmful than physical abuse. None is acceptable. All of them are not
Yes.
acceptable.
Yes.
However,
Yes.
psychological abuse is not seen by anybody outside except you, right?
Correct.
So a lot of people suffer that abuse and they find themselves saying, oh, okay, I've forgiven. And he said he's sorry. I'll give him another chance. And he continues to do that until the other, well, let me not say he, because it happens both ways. So the perpetrator of this evil continues to do that to the victim until the victim becomes a shadow of themselves.
Right.
Because actually the way that these psychotic people, I call them, would act is to make sure that the next person is so unsure of themselves that they think they're actually deranged, you know.
Right. Right.
So the thing is, if you forgive the person, like we say, separate yourself from that situation that causes you that
That
pain.
pain. That pain.
Yeah,
Yes.
so don't make yourself a repeated pain receiver and continue to say, oh, it's because I've forgiven. That's actually not doing yourself any good, because
No.
my Bible tells me to love my neighbor as I love myself. That
Correct.
means if I don't love myself, I can't love my neighbor. And
That's
if I
correct.
love myself, I must protect myself. So that's
I
just my take on that.
No, that's a good take. You completely have to love yourself first. It starts with you first. I tell folks all the time on this platform that self-care is the most important beginning of any healing process. Once you start to second guess yourself and you feel like someone has put you down to the point that you don't even know who you are, that's a toxic relationship right there. And it's time for you to make some decisions. You know, I can't tell you people what to do. What I know, what I did when mine happened to me. Do you understand? So you make some very strong decisions. Once you see someone who's carrying baggage from another relationship and they're dumping it on you on a regular basis, it's time for you also to make some quality decisions, because you're going to see that. And any level of abuse, and especially if the person is doing it repeatedly, you know that there's a problem. You can't fix them. Don't even try and fix them. Just point them to the direction where they can find help. And if they can't find help, point them to the next door, which is the exit door, so they can continue with their life and you can continue with me. I tell folks all the time, if anybody knows me now, they'll know I would never again in my life, as long as I'm on planet Earth, compromise my peace for anything and anyone.
Yeah.
I've been at a place where I almost lost my mind. So for
Wow.
anything or for anyone, I will never ever compromise my peace. If I see anything that continues to nag on me, or I see a trait on an individual that this guy can't stand, I will politely just make exit and say, you know what, that's fine. It's not working.
Yeah.
So, and I will try my best not to create a toxic environment for anyone else.
For the next person.
Yes, I'm also very mindful of that. Let's not get stuck here. There's a lot to discuss. I just got another question that came in. It says, what are some of the most common misconceptions about healing a broken heart?
The first thing I would think about, one misconception is time heals all things.
Okay.
Time doesn't really heal all things. And this is me being personal right now. Time doesn't really heal all things. Once again, I'll go back to the first thing I said, and also borrow like a leaf from you, which is taking everything back to God. But time really doesn't heal all things. It is your environment and the circumstances around you that help you to heal with time. So just letting time pass without doing anything will not help you or anybody else. But when time is passing and you're doing something to aid in that healing, then time contributes to assisting with the healing. So that's a misconception. First, time heals all things. Second misconception will be the other end of it, which is a broken heart can never be mended.
That's right.
That is the misconception. First cut is the deepest. We always heard that, but then there's always second time around, as those songs would tell us in the 80s. It might be better than the first time. You never know.
And that's why you have to continue living. If you don't, if you get stuck at the wrong bus stop, you will never get to your destination. You just have to continue living.
Yeah. So those are two misconceptions: one on this side, one on the other side. But that was deep, though. If you get stuck at the one bus stop,
legitimate misconceptions, believe it or not. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with Matters of the Heart. Our guest today on Broken Not Shattered is Dr. Sally, and she has a lot to share. Okay, if you're just logging in for the first time, my guest today is Dr. Sally. Dr. Sally, thanks. Woof! That was a very interesting first segment. If you have any questions for Dr. Sally, this is a good time to put these questions in. Put in the questions, and she would respond to them as the show continues. Sally, let us discuss something different. Okay, we talked about the misconception of the heart, right? Of a broken heart, and you said time heals all things. This is a matter of the heart. This time it's not emotional. This time it's not the lovey-dovey heart we want to talk about here. I want to talk about the physical heart. Can the physical heart be mended? And I think what the trigger is from this question that one of our audience has just put in. My staff is trying to get it across to me now. Where are we? They said, okay, there we go. Okay, let's take this one. Okay, it said, does a heartbreak hurt both men and women? Sally?
Absolutely. I mean, we're all human. We just respond differently, but I've also come to understand that the person who appears to be strongest might be hurting the most. Okay. So it does affect both men and women. And like I said before the break, when we're talking about psychological abuse, or like we say in our Nigerian parlance, serving breakfast, the man can serve the breakfast and the woman can serve the breakfast, right? Everybody gets last. So yes, both men and women can be heartbroken. And really, from a woman point of view, I can tell you that like women are really deadly. Like when they strike, they don't really look back. I don't know if because they've heard many stories of women being hurt and like, I'm doing this one for the sisters, I'll do this one. But really, Uzo from UK, yes, both men.
Like a woman scorned. When a woman is scorned, she'll go all out. They don't have any boundaries, or they just go, all wired from emotional point. They'll just go off. They'll shout, yell. They'll just continue destroying everything. But that's
oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna take one for the sisters, but not that much. I take it easy.
All right, so share with us another misconception. Our listeners would like to find out what is the most misconception about a heart attack and a cardiac arrest.
Okay, now we're like, this is one leap, you know. Yeah. Okay. So what's the difference between a heart attack and a cardiac arrest? So we're probably like moving a little bit from Ike's forte to mine, as the case may be. But what about heart? The heart is, I always say, the engine of your body, your engine. Anything that happens to the heart really affects you maximally. Okay. And that is why we need to take good care of the heart. Now to the question, because the heart, first of all, pumps blood to every part of the body and receives, I'll call it for today, contaminated blood. But we call it deoxygenated blood. So you can imagine that if the heart is not able to do what it's supposed to do, which is take away impurities from the body, like recycle, bring it back, the body, especially the brain, will not function optimally. So the heart attack, a lot of people will say, oh, somebody had a heart attack and he died. Most of the time, that may not be a heart attack. It might be like a cardiac arrest that sent the person away, because a heart attack has to do with the blood vessels that supply the heart. So even though the heart pumps blood, it has blood vessels that supply its blood, because the heart is a muscle, right? It's an organ that is all muscular. So if any of those blood vessels, call them the coronary blood vessels, sending blood to the heart, become blocked.
Okay.
Now, how would they become blocked? Maybe from cholesterol building up within them, or maybe from poorly managed diabetes, and the blood is now very thick and viscous, as the case may be. If any of those blood vessels taking blood to the heart is blocked, then the particular muscle it's supplying will suffer and die. So that is like, it doesn't get its food, and so it dies. And that's what we call myocardial infarction. So that portion of the heart has its own job. The entire heart is supposed to contract and relax together, depending on where it is. So if that doesn't happen, then the heart is not able to send blood optimally. So we see something like somebody's climbing up the stairs and they suddenly hold, clutch their chest because they're feeling this pain. And after like a few minutes, they're able to stand up and move again. That was a heart attack. And what happened is that the blood vessels. Yes, that was a heart attack.
But not a cardiac arrest.
No, not a cardiac arrest.
So a heart attack can happen without you dying, but a cardiac arrest, a cardiac arrest means it's completely stopped. It's been arrested. Cardiac
arrest is completely stopped because it's an electric thing. So in a cardiac arrest, it is that the electrical function of the heart is compromised. So the heart has electricity passing through it. Let's call it let's just call it electricity. Okay. And that electricity is what triggers the muscles to contract. And when the muscles contract, they pump blood. Now, if that electrical function of the heart is compromised, then the heart does not pump the way it should. And most of the time, the heart will stop. So that's why. Okay. Yeah, you wanted to ask something?
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, could you liken it to having bad gasoline in your tank?
That would be for heart attack. Let's say you have like gasoline that has impurities, right?
Right.
Or is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
no. We could liken it to plugs, bad plugs or bad something.
Okay.
I don't know if they still have plugs in cars. Well, whatever it is that sends the electrical function through the cars.
Yes, correct. Okay.
Yeah. So if that is malfunctioning, then the heart ceases, which is why it's very important when a cardiac arrest occurs for there to be somebody who knows how to perform CPR immediately.
So CPR,
because CPR
what is they always say CPR. What does CPR stand for?
Okay. CPR is cardio pulmonary, resuscitation. Cardio is the heart,
Right.
pulmonary the lungs,
Okay.
and resuscitation like a revival, or bringing back to life. So CPR, the entire process of CPR is to bring back the heart and the lungs to functioning, so that the blood can be pumped to different parts of the body, and the brain does not die, because the brain is the most important thing, and the brain dies in like seconds, minutes, like a very short time, and we don't even want to take any chance at all. So that's CPR, and that's the difference between cardiac arrest and heart attack.
So in the case of a CPR, when someone drops with a cardiac arrest, I want to believe that's what it is, you're trying to resuscitate the person back again, correct?
Okay.
How important is it for one to understand how to do the CPR and when to do CPR?
Okay. Thank you for that. So it is very, very important for one to understand how and when to do CPR. Why is this important? Like we already said, the brain is a very important organ. We know that. That is basically life, so to speak. Yeah. And if CPR is not instituted immediately, the loss of brain function is increased progressively. How do they say it in math? Astronomically, whatever, like it increases as the minutes pass by. Okay. So for any time that you do not give what you're supposed to give, you have somebody having a worse chance of full recovery, and also having worse outcome at the end of it all.
Wow.
So it's important for everybody to know how to do CPR, because one thing we say is bystander CPR is it's like gold. It's a gold nugget that the American Heart Association developed. Okay, because one misconception is that people who say, oh, CPR is only for healthcare providers. I don't know how to do CPR, which is why it has come, to the point where everybody is expected to know. I mean, it's common knowledge in, let's say, Nigeria, for people to just drop. They're playing football, somebody drops. They're having a drink, somebody drops. And of course, in the palace, somebody probably say, oh, their village people have come after them and all of that good stuff. And a lot of people now with the cell phone, they just bring out the phone and begin to take pictures. You're supposed to try to help that person. So bystander CPR is the training that is given to everybody who is not a healthcare provider, to make sure that everybody has the skills to act as a first responder in a cardiac emergency. Wow. The person will institute this process before advanced care comes in.
Right.
To make sure that they increase the chances of survival.
Could you walk us through the basic steps of performing a CPR? Just the basic steps.
Okay.
Because somebody might never have an opportunity to get this, but they'll say, oh, I was watching Broken Not Shattered, and guess what? I learned how to do the basic steps of CPR. Because the first thing that comes into your head is, I don't know this individual. How do I do a mouth-to-mouth with them? So. Okay.
And let me address it from the back. That is one good thing why we have bystander CPR. Mouth-to-mouth is no longer like required. You don't have to, especially with all the things going on, COVID, all of them. So there's hands-only CPR. Okay. The basic thing about CPR is to make sure that the heart and the lungs are functioning. Now, for the lungs will be that mouth-to-mouth. However, we realize that getting blood flow is more important than getting air into the lungs. Okay. Because before, the stages of emergency response were ABC, airway, breathing, and circulation. Okay. Now it's changed to CAB. Circulation comes before the airway and breathing. So what are the basic steps? When you see, or if you happen to come across, you're in a place, you're in a restaurant, you're somewhere, and somebody suddenly maybe clutches their chest and fall and is motionless, the first thing you do is to tap the person. Tap the person and say, hey, are you okay? Hey, are you okay? If the person is not on a flat, firm surface, put them on a flat, firm surface. But most of the time, they fall into the ground. That's a flat, firm surface. So, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? And if you don't see any sign of breathing because you check and you don't feel any pulse, for those who are not healthcare providers, we're not even asking you to check the pulse. Just check whether they are breathing out, and you begin the CPR. You make the person lie flat. Look at the lower third of the chest. You place the heel of your
So
palm.
the lower third
right
of
there.
the chest is where? Here?
1, 2, 3, the lower third, right here.
Okay.
Yes. But don't go too low so you don't break the tiny bone called the xiphoid process. So right here, you place the heel of one hand in that position, and you place the other hand over the hand that's already there.
Wow. So
You
it's
clasp them
like this, and then this.
Okay, I think I'm going to have to, I don't know if I can.
No, don't worry. Don't worry.
You think I can show something on the floor?
No, don't worry.
I don't mind.
That's okay.
Okay, so that's okay. So push there and put the two hands, the one over the other, push hard, push fast. No, that will be this way. Okay, this way.
Like that?
Yes.
And then?
Like this.
Okay.
And this place is over here.
Okay. All right.
So this way, and you're facing down because the person is down. And you're pushing hard and fast in this middle part. You're supposed to push at least... I'm sorry?
Is there a time frame that you do this?
Yes, at least 100 to 120 in a minute. So, but one thing is, it's difficult to count that, especially in a panic state. So what people, there are songs that help us. So they're Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, Staying Alive, Staying Alive, ha, aha. That has a time. It's the rhythm will give you that. There's another song now by Miley Cyrus that was just released as one of the songs that also has the same beat that will get you to 100 and 120 beats in that minute. So you continue that until somebody with help comes in.
Flowers?
Huh?
Is it a song called Flowers?
You know, I'm old school. I'm not really sure. I just know that it's by Miley Cyrus. I can't really remember. But please just check it. Yeah, it's this. It was
maybe it could be Flowers. Yeah,
it might be it. You know, hey, I like old school and new school. Okay.
I have young daughters. You know, I have to stay in the know. You know, there's a lot of young teenagers around.
Okay. I know you have to stay. So yes, so that's what you do, and you get those, and you keep doing that until somebody who has better knowledge of resuscitation comes to take over. And the thing, let me not forget this, when that happens, if you have somebody else around there, it's important for you, when you realize that the person is not responding, you always yell, "Get me the AED, call 911.
Okay. All right.
Call, because I mean, how will they know something is happening if you haven't called them? So when you find out this person is not responding, hey, are you okay? And you check, no blood, no pulse, nothing. Once you begin, you call, "Get me an AED, call me 911. And I think in Lagos State, it's call 112 or 767.
Okay.
So I don't know of any other state in Nigeria that has those numbers.
It's 911.
911 is America, and because I think we're talking to people everywhere, right?
Everywhere, yes, sure.
Yes. So if anybody can find whatever there, it's important for you to find out what your emergency number is in any part of this world and have it.
Most cell phones have an emergency number. So if your phone comes automatically, you see that emergency number on your phone automatically.
Awesome.
Just hit the
emergency button.
Emergency, and your phone will show the emergency number automatically.
Awesome.
You should be able to
so that will help a lot if we get to do that.
And this is good information. That's why people come to Broken Not Shattered. because we cut across everything. See, we've discussed with the spiritual, we've discussed emotional, and now we've gone to some heavy medical spot. We have 2 more questions before we wrap up for the end of the day. I know we've gone a little over than we planned, but that's fine. For those of us who don't know, we've moved our time from 3 p.m., from 4 p.m. that we've been in for all these years, back to 3 p.m. every Sunday Eastern Standard Time, to allow our audience in West Africa to come in and participate before it gets too late and too dark for them. So today, again, we've started at the regular time of 3 p.m. All right, and so please make sure you follow us, you subscribe, and you click notification on your. Sally, have you subscribed with us? Are you part of us? Follow us, Sally.
I'm sorry.
Make sure you follow us on all our platforms after this. And we ask
not just in case.
I know. Exactly. That's so please make sure that you just follow us everywhere and get our audience to know that when they hit the notification button, it reminds you of Broken Not Shatters about to come in. 2 more questions for our guest today, and we're going to call it a wrap. The question that came in as we were speaking on CPR, someone says, for those who may hesitate on or be intimidated with the idea of learning CPR, what should you say, or how do we encourage them to go for CPR training? Now, I know you also have a training agency back now in Nigeria. Where can they find you? How can they do it? That's important. And then we have 1 more question.
Okay, thank you. So for those who have any hesitation, who are like, I'm not sure I can do it, oh, it's icky, oh, it's that, or oh, I'm scared. I just want you to imagine if you were in need of this and nobody around was able to do it. How would you feel? Imagine if your loved one was in a place where there was nobody who knew what to do. I always tell, because I go to corporate organizations, because I do workplace wellness, and trying to get like a management will to train staff on this. I ask the top management, the executives, and I ask them, if you were like in this office and nobody knew what to do and you had a cardiac arrest, what would happen? So the thing to think about is, if I needed it, would I want somebody to know how to do it?
Wow.
Therefore, shouldn't I want to know how to do it so I can be that hero or angel for the next person? So if you're scared, I tell you not to be scared. One thing people always ask is, what if the person dies? Or you didn't kill the person, you did everything you could do, which is better than doing nothing. Because of course, a lot of people survive. So your encounter may be the encounter with the person who just survived.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of people come forward to say thank you to someone who was there for them when they had a cardiac arrest. And
Sally,
so what?
Sorry for go ahead. I'm just
sorry.
Mindful of the time, but go ahead.
Oh, time. Okay, sorry. So please don't be scared. And for people who are in Africa or in Nigeria, we do have an approved training site in Lagos. We are Kota Wellness, Health and Safety. You can find us on Instagram.
Called what?
Kota, COTA, all caps, Wellness, Health and Safety.
Okay.
And on Instagram, we're Kota _health _wellness _safety. Basically, right. Very simple, so you don't forget everything underscore.
Our team will put it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Go ahead. Sorry. You want to say something?
Go ahead with the last question. So you can find us there, and we do corporate wellness. So we train in offices, and we also train people in our site. We train both healthcare personnel and non-healthcare providers. We can go to any location where you are that is not a war zone. So we can go to pretty much anywhere to train your staff, because our aim is to make sure that everybody knows what to do in an emergency. For non-medical personnel, we have the Heart Saver First Aid CPR AED. That is an American Heart Association product, because all our emergency cardiovascular care products are per the American Heart Association curriculum. Okay. So these products are evidence-based, up to date. We know that American Heart Association continues to have research every year, and every 5 years there is a complete overhaul of the program, the training program, but they keep adding on as research continues.
Wow, thank you, Dr. Sally.
You're
Last
welcome.
question, and I think if you can make this as brief as possible, that will help us.
Okay.
What are the key factors that we can do in our daily living that will help us eliminate the chances or reduce the chances of having a cardiac arrest? The
Okay.
top 3 things or 4 things we need to do, and
Right.
that was the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay. So the things that we need to do are basically based on the risk factors of heart problems, generally speaking. So the
Which is
first thing is to try to avoid cardiovascular problems. First, your lifestyle, exercise, diet, avoid alcohol, avoid smoking, manage your existing hypertension if there is any, manage diabetes. And to avoid those, the hypertension and diabetes, once again, is the healthy lifestyle. So basically, everything comes down to increase fruit and fiber, increase your fluid intake, which will be water, reduce your soda, sugar, and reduce or refined sugars. So basically, a healthy lifestyle, a very healthy lifestyle with exercise will
so
help you.
cut out or reduce drinking and smoking,
Mhm.
um, exercise,
Mhm.
and eat a healthy and balanced diet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sally, thank you so much for your time.
My
What
pleasure.
we will bring you back again. Hopefully, I know there's a lot for us to share.
Yeah, I
It's
look forward to
joy,
that.
and you have really graced us with a lot of information. I hope our audience today, but because of time, we just have to wrap up this issue of Broken Not Shattered. So, on behalf of the entire team and all our audience globally, we want to say thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you sometime again. All right.
Thank you. I've had so much fun here, and happy Valentine's in advance.
Thank
And
you.
for all the broken-hearted people, there is hope. And yeah, that's it.
They are broken, but they're not shattered. There you go. Thanks so very much. It's been a joy having Dr. Sally on the show. For those of us who are here, we have to wrap up. It's been a great, great session. I hope you got a lot, learned a lot, heard a lot, and that's what we do. We're here to refresh life. Remember, you could be broken, but you're not shattered. There's always a way to come back, and God is our source. There are therapies, there's counseling, there's family support that you need, the friends around you, and think positive, enjoy life, do the things that make you feel happy. So, on behalf of Broken Not Shattered family, I want to see you guys same time, same place next week. And the time has changed. It is now 3 p.m. Eastern Time. 3 famous words: love, peace, and more grace. Take care and hope to see you again on our next issue of Broken Not Shattered. If you have any questions, put it in the chat and Dr. Sally will be able to answer them. Love you. Peace.